Hello, Mark Dunnett speaking to you again about delegation today, an essential skill for every entrepreneur. We want to get everyone up to the point of delegation where you can get them to do a task and be assured that it's going to get done. So there are some common mistakes with delegation that, and the most common one is that people think it's the only way to do task allocation. In fact, delegation is the end and the highest level of task allocation, not as it is commonly used, which is I'm just going to delegate every task. In fact, we need to have a really high level of trust before we get to delegation, and that the person has demonstrated that they can do the task. So delegation is the end one. If we look at our little chart here, we can see that the very first level of job allocation is that you do the job. The second level of job allocation is for an entry-level person to do a task under strict procedures with direct supervision, a limited repeatable task. That third level there, that where we've got an experienced worker, that we're doing a range of tasks, multiple procedures. There's regular supervision, but they don't have to watch them all the time, and we're actually reviewing the results on a regular basis. And then lastly, we get to that full delegation, where we've got someone who can do a wide range of tasks, including unique situations, and that we review the results by key performance indicators, KPIs, key performance indicators. There's a high level of trust, and the individual, this is a very important point, that the individual sets their priorities and goals. So they can either do that by using Google Calendar, where they record it there, or they send you an email at the end of each Friday saying this is what I'm going to do, this is what I'm going to do next week, and you can review that on a regular basis to see whether they're getting it done or whether they're just writing down tasks and never getting there. So that's all about delegation. Remember these other points here, that once you delegate, you must monitor the results, not the process. That with delegation we don't have abdication. So that will often happen with our financial tasks, very common with entrepreneurs. They'll get rid of that task that they don't like, whether it's finance or marketing. They'll get rid of that and pass it off to someone, and then go, okay, that's your responsibility. No, it's still your responsibility. Big point. It's still your responsibility to monitor the results and to make sure that you're achieving the results that you want. So that may mean that you've got to do a financial skills for managers course. That's very, very different from learning how to be a bookkeeper. But you need to know how to read your budget, you need to know how to read your spreadsheets, you need to know how to read all of the important financial documents. And then the other common mistake is that there's no regular review, there aren't KPIs for the people, and there aren't due dates when tasks are allocated. So that's easily fixed. Once we get up to delegation, the very, very important skill is that we have proper training. So that starts with you do it, you do a demo of the whole task, you do a demo of each step, they watch, and here is the important point, that they take their own notes. Now, however they do that, whether they do that by capturing it on their phone, which I wouldn't, or whether they do that by writing out step by step, at the end of that session, they have to have notes that they can repeat the task off the notes. So at the end of the session, we're going to look at their notes, and you tell them up the front, yeah, I want to see your notes at the end here, and we're going to go through those notes together and make sure that they can do the task off their notes. So that will probably mean correcting their notes, but it's been proven that if they draw up the notes, then they understand it. So whether they're visual or whether they're written depends on the person, how they want to do it. That sort of thing. Then the next stage is you watch them do that they do the task, and you watch and you correct and we improve until we get it to a level that we're happy with, and then they get to do the task on their own. Next important point here, that we need to review the early results and coach for improvement. So we don't let it go. We don't just go, all right, you can do it, that's the end of that. We need to still go for improvement. Now, even at the end, when they are responsible, they're not responsible until they are setting their own goals and allocating their own priorities. So that's the level we need to get them to, and that's recorded, and you're monitoring that by KPIs and regular coaching sessions. So we'll talk about KPIs and coaching sessions and other lessons. Now, as an entrepreneur, the first step will be to outsource routine tasks, so that, and your goal is that you can get back an hour of your life. Now, probably you're going to have to pay for that. That's going to be, if it's a routine task, you're going to be paying $30 an hour to get that done. But then that allows you to go out and earn $70 an hour. Frees you up to do tasks that only you can do, so that you're not doing the routine over and over. So that's that first goal. Eventually we've got to get to where our first hire is an admin person to take over all those routine admin tasks, and we want to hire that person for a day, so that we can spend a day a week on working on the business. So but if we're just doing outsourcing, so you don't have that person there to see them, the big important task is that we have a high level of initial task description, and that we are only monitoring results, that we don't set the process, we're just monitoring results. Massive big important point here, to be aware that if you hire outsourced people, particularly creative people, where you're getting them to create a logo, create a flyer, a poster, whatever, they own the IP, they own the intellectual property, unless you have a signed and written agreement that hands the IP back to you. So that's a massive big point, right? So if you're going to take anything out of this lesson, take that. The special note with bookkeepers and finance is that the correct use of bookkeepers is that it's supposed to be one individual does accounts receivable and a different individual does accounts payable. So if you see any larger business, they are two separate departments. A common trap is that you've given complete rights to one person, so that even if yes, you've got control of the bank account, and yes, they can. That will only happen if you in Xero co-sign or in a cloud accounting, that you co-sign the invoices. That's the safeguard. But if you've got one person doing that and you don't have the controls, they can create their own invoice and they can pay themselves out of your bank account. So that's a big star there that we have to be very careful when outsourcing. Now, further learning here, we've got Michael Hyatt's podcasts. I'd highly recommend that resource. You can click there to go there, and he's got a couple of really good lessons on delegation, and the 1 Minute Manager, very small book, classic business book, It's less than 100 pages. You'll read it in a night, but it has fantastic points. Now there are some other questions that you need to look at. Your follow-up questions here. Things like, have you recorded key training by screen capture for new employees? Do you have written job roles for each team member? Do you have at least 2 KPIs for each person? Do the team members? So you can read them. Does the team member set goals? And do you have regular coaching sessions? Now, don't worry if you haven't got that. This is the end goal that we're moving to. This is why you come on the Entrepreneur Growth Program. And this is how we're going to get to getting your life back. From getting from one person to team, where you're just reviewing it and you can take holidays. That's the whole goal of it all. That we get time, we get money, and we have a team that can get the job done. Alright, so contact me anytime. The contact details are on the website. And remember, our main training is the Entrepreneurs Growth Program, face-to-face, 10 sessions over a year. And at the end of the year, you'll have moved your business on to that next stage. It's not going to be a quick fix, but it is going to be the fix. Alright, I hope that gives you some great points. Even if you just do the follow-up questions there, I hope that gives you actions to take out of this lesson. And see you next time. Please leave feedback, and leave any feedback there so that we can improve this resource for future people. Thanks, have a great day.